Let's take a deeper look at Jonathan Mingo. First and foremost, he's 6'2", 225 pounds, and he's a 4'4" guy. Got some room for improvement. Nevertheless, when you see him, he's a strong guy at the top of his route, and he can pull the ball out of the sky. And he got good feet for his size. Now, some pro scouting reports showing that their comp is Anquan Bolden, and I see a lot of that in his game. Big, physical, wide receiver. They got good top speed that can take it the distance. And on top of that, a guy that you can put on the edge that can block. I like seeing Jonathan Mingo. I think that he's a real good pickup. If the Cowboys decide in the late rounds, he will be a guy that's not afraid to catch the ball in traffic. He will high point the ball and pull it out of the sky. And on top of that, he clearly can be a vertical threat for you, still with that 4'4" speed at the top of his route. And his hands, they pretty good. Not a lot of production at Ole Miss. When you look at the tape, you can still see that this dude got unbelievable potentials. And when you think about it, there was other wide receivers that played in the National Football League that came from that program, Ole Miss. Shout out to my Mississippi boys. And when you look at Jonathan Mingo, you can see you can line him inside the slot. You can line him up on the outside. He can take the top off the defense if given on the vertical stretch. And on top of that, he's a physical wide receiver that can high point the ball, that can give you that. And when you start looking at everything, the strength is there. He bench pressed the 225 22 times. He is one of those guys that if you try to jam him and if you miss, he can embarrass you. Now, all of that goes into play that this dude can be a draft steal for your team, because a lot of people may look at the other wide receivers that's shorter. A lot of people may look at the other wide receivers that got higher production, and they will leave out the fact that this dude is physical. The traditional size of the wide receiver, 6'2", with the 4'4" speed that can take the top off the defense, that can get the separation. Those things that I like out of his game. Will there be some improvement needed? Yes. Do he sometimes play getting off his release a little too high? Yes. None of these guys are finished products. All of these guys got to go through some growing pains one way or another. However, when you look at his game, you can clearly see that this dude got a dog mentality. He got untapped potentials. And on top of that, when you start looking at his overall collective skill set and his comp being Anquan Bolden, come on, y'all. I can't wait to see this guy take it to the next level. And if he goes through this process of a lot of people overlooking him, my, oh my, Jonathan Mingo, write that down. People will be looking at it and saying, what a blessing. The untapped potential, 6'2", 225 pounds, bench pressing 225, 22 times. Man, shout out to my guy from Brandon, Mississippi, Jonathan Mingo. He will be that guy that can be a steal for a team. And why not let it be the Cowboys? That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Salute.
The name that keeps on coming up in multiple places is why is no one on your network, or why is no one on ESPN talking about Jonathan Mingo, the wide receiver out of Ole Miss. He's 6'2", he's 225 pounds. Measured it at the combine and did a 4'4", 640. You see that Ole Miss uniform, you think A.J. Brown, you think Elijah Moore, you think DK Metcalf.